What makes someone become a whistleblower? What makes someone come clean about what they know? What makes them turn their back on friends, colleagues, and employers, and even the very industry that once afforded them a decent living and kept a roof over their heads? There are many reasons that run the whole gamut from the selfish to the selfless and stopping off at the self preservation along the way. But the main drivers for turning whistleblower can be broken down into three main categories. There are those that turn whistleblower for vengeance. A disgruntled former employee, for example, who believes they've been poorly treated or slighted in some way. There are those that turn whistleblower for financial gain in the pursuit of a payment to secure their silence over something they know that others might prefer to keep under wraps. And then there's the third kind, the noble kind. The whistleblower not as a malevolent force, but as a force for good, or perceived good at least. Those that bravely choose to come clean to improve things, to reveal and right a wrong, to hopefully make a positive difference regardless of the personal cost. And there have been some noble examples over the years. Back in 1971, Daniel Ellsberg leaked classified documents proving the US government had misled the public about the Vietnam War. That revelation sparked a national crisis of trust in government and played a role in ending the war. In 1974, lab technician Karen Silkwood exposed nuclear industry safety violations at a company called Kerr McGee. She later died under mysterious circumstances en route to meet a journalist. Her story was eventually told in the movie Silkwood, in which she was portrayed by Meryl Streep. In 1996, Jeffrey Wigand turned whistleblower on the tobacco industry, revealing that tobacco companies knew that nicotine was addictive. He ultimately testified in major lawsuits and featured in the movie The Insider. And then, most recently, back in 2013, former National Security Agency intelligence contractor Edward Snowden leaked classified documents revealing the existence of global surveillance programs. He was charged with violating the US's Espionage Act and was eventually forced to seek asylum in Russia, where he is now a naturalized citizen. Whatever the industry, the circumstances, or the motivation, the act of whistleblowing carries with it a certain bravery, an unspoken virtue, because however they deliver the message, the chances are they are committing an act of irreversible self ostracization. They're instantly and knowingly cutting themselves off from their friends, their colleagues, and their peers. There's a strange nobility in that whistleblowing, a quiet, cold kind of nobility, one forged in silence, exile, and the knowledge that doing what's right might cost you everything. Some whistleblowers come forward with damning documents, others risk their health to reveal contamination or corner cutting. Some simply say out loud what everyone else already knows, but no one dares to admit. And with that single act, they break ranks. They become other, a threat, a liability, a traitor. At first, there's the hope that someone will listen, that justice will prevail. But often, the emails stop. Friends avert their eyes, whisper in corners, distance themselves as if integrity were contagious and deadly. Those who once stood shoulder to shoulder with them turn their backs, terrified of being tarred with the same brush. And still, the whistleblowers speak out. The cost is not only social. Many lose their jobs, some lose their careers, some even sacrifice their families. There are endless legal fees, the sleepless nights, the stress related illnesses, the knowledge that future employers will see their whistleblowing not as a badge of honour, but as a red flag. Not brave, but difficult. Not principled, but disloyal. Some are sued, others are followed, some are threatened quietly or violently. Their mental health can crack, their relationships suffer. In some cases, they're surveilled by the very institutions they try to protect. In others, they lose their homes, their pensions, and their peace. And still, they press forward. Why? Why take the risk? Why stand alone in the storm? Because truth matters, because people matter, because profits cannot be allowed to trump human life or decency or law, because the corner that was cut could kill someone, because the figure buried in a spreadsheet could destroy a family, because silence is complicity, because integrity is more important than fear, safety is more important than greed. Whistleblowers generally don't set out to be adversaries. Most don't wake up craving conflict. Most of them are insiders, loyalists, People who believed in the mission, the company, and the industry. People who tried to fix things from the inside and only went public when every door was slammed shut. Again, Jeffrey Wigand didn't plan to take on big tobacco. Sharon Watkins didn't want to bring down Enron. They came forward because they could no longer live the lie, because they saw the damage being done and they knew they had to act. Whistleblowers often emerge from the very heart of the system. They're not outsiders, they're not radicals. They're people who believed in the values their organizations claim to stand for. And that betrayal cuts deep. Not just the betrayal they feel, but the betrayal others project onto them. They're seen as turncoats, as the ones who brought the shame or the scandal. Never mind that the wrongdoing was already there. They're blamed for shining a light on it. It's easier to punish the messenger than to confront the message. But here's the most bitter pill of all. Whistleblowers shouldn't be necessary. If industries operated with genuine transparency, if leadership welcomed scrutiny instead of suppressing it, if internal processes were robust, honest, and safe, people wouldn't have to go public. The existence of whistleblowers is not a sign of integrity within a system, it's a sign of failure. Every time a person is forced to choose between their livelihood and the truth, the system has failed. Every time a company covers up instead of correcting, retaliates instead of reflecting, the system has failed. Every time a whistleblower is ruined while the guilty go free, the system has failed. So yes, many whistleblowers are brave. Some are noble even. They're necessary, but they shouldn't have to be. If businesses and industries operated as they were supposed to, whistleblowers would have nothing to blow their whistles about. Now, as we're all aware, a self-styled whistleblower is currently stirring things up in the asbestos industry. He unquestionably talks a good fight and clearly has an axe to grind. Quite what drove him to spill the beans, we're still not entirely sure. Whether his motives are self-serving or altruistic is also unknown at this point. One thing no one can argue, though, the demolition, construction, and asbestos industry has created precisely the kind of fertile environment required to spawn a whistleblower. If the industry is looking for someone to blame for his sudden emergence, they need only look in the mirror.